Hi, I'm Mark. I'm the creator of Chinatown Detective Agency. Behind me actually is the real Chinatown of Singapore, where the game is set, albeit in the not-too-distant future, in a darker, more dangerous version of the future set in the year 2032. On account of Singapore being close to the equator, it gets pretty hot. Today it's sweltering, so why don't I see you back in my air-conditioned office? I highly recommend taking the super efficient MRT system of Singapore, so hop on and I'll see you in a few minutes. Hello again. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to be talking about Chinatown Detective Agency, the game. And I think a good place to start is what actually inspired it? What are the inspirations behind the concept and the game itself? To do that, we'll need to look back a few years. Many years ago, sometime in the mid-90s, I played a video game that would change my life. Messing around with an old second-hand Power Macintosh 5200, I loaded up a pre-installed game with an unusually long title. The name of that game was Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Now at the time, it looked outdated, which it was. It was already 10 years old by then. But within the first few minutes, I was hooked. It was nothing like the games I played on my Super Nintendo. It had me doing real-world research in order to track down thieves in a game that saw you play the role of a globetrotting detective. It was amazing. Decades later, after the completion, release, and moderate success of our first game, Tarawa, I was brainstorming a concept for a second game that me and my team would be developing. And I knew right away that I wanted it to be an homage to that game that captivated me as an 11-year-old. But I wanted to spin it differently. I wanted to give it a futuristic sci-fi setting. And I wanted to give it this hard-boiled noir style and tone. It would be a point-and-click adventure that takes place in the year 2032, using visually stunning pixel art to render a world on the verge of collapse in all its dark beauty. It would have the player traveling across multiple locations in Singapore and the world. There would be different modes of transportation, subway maps, even a flight booking system. But most of all, it would be immersive. You'd have to do real research to crack the toughest cases in the game, whether that's using Google or consulting an encyclopedia or an almanac if you still have one of those. The point is, the game wants you to be a real investigator. It's a game with a gripping story, powered by simple, streamlined mechanics. It will even have aspects of management, as players will need to run the main character's private detective business and make sure bills are paid on time. Behind the realization of these features is the game's lead programmer and longtime collaborator of mine, Jenny Hyde. She's the brains behind the operation, and she's based out of Plymouth in the UK. This is our second game together, with the first being Tarawa, a winemaking tycoon game we released on Steam in 2017, which is now on GOG, Humble, and the Windows Store. Then there's Ricardo Juchem. If you like the way the game looks, you've got him to thank. He's based out of Curitiba in Brazil, and is the artist behind a handful of games currently in development. His dark, gritty, pixel art style really breathes life into the game's setting and story. Ricardo's art direction comes alive thanks to our animator, Alex Von Kuhl, based out of Minsk. The fluid movements and slick action sequences are a product of his frame-by-frame rendering, which he models after movie scenes. Our soundtrack is composed and performed by Sean Colton and Dmitry Muchkin, who draw inspiration from the works of Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, Angelo Badalamenti, as well as soaring epic soundtracks to movies like Oblivion. The team will continue to expand as development progresses. Now, our vision for the game is simple. We want to pull you into the dark, hopeless world of the year 2032. And along the way, maybe you'll learn a thing or two about something you may not have known about concerning art, history, geography, literature, culture. So here's where we are now. We finished the core mechanics of the game. In fact, if you play our demo, which is available now, you'll see that most of the fundamental features of the game are already in place. What's left to be done is the actual population of the game with more content. So that means writing and designing more missions and cases. That also means building new environments and locations, doing new animations. It also means recording new VO and composing new music. So it really is about just bringing the world of the game to life, and that's where we really need your help. Your support will help us deliver a solid, well-executed game. We'll use the Kickstarter funds to produce more content, create new assets, just basically make the world of the game feel much richer, more eclectic, and more vibrant. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that one day you'll be chasing down criminals as you travel around the world and unraveling conspiracies in Chinatown Detective Agency. Good luck, Gumshoe.